on this episode of The Bender Hour.
Continue just very briefly about the fart thing, is that there's some of the few farts in my whole life that, like, actually smell bad to me. Is it good? I think Katara's, she's an Inuit from one of those shithole countries. That's what you'd say.
If I could piss off some asshole playing this online game, I've made my life better, to be honest. Or he might kill him because Trump's probably gonna say some dumb shit to him.
You look like a bored little idiot.
I think I could kill you easy with my bare hands.
It was made by Big Woman to get the laugh out of us. The 100-year war would be over in a day, most likely.
I am the master of making deals. I could negotiate between the Earth King and the Fire Lord. Yeah, I think the important thing to start with is just something that, something that needs to be said here. I just, not too long before this, I ate my own body weight in Chinese food, and I'm already, feeling hungry again. So, it's just like a bad omen. Yeah. I don't know what it is about Chinese food that just makes you hungry after eating it, no matter how much of it you eat.
And how about
it's despicable.
At least for me, when I eat Chinese food, I am 100% guaranteed to have farts that smell like a rotten version of the food I just ate pretty much all day. And
I've never had that happen.
And
but you're also the only person I know who has ever had orange shit from Chinese food, so...
That's true. Granted, that only ever happened once in my life. But to, I guess, continue just very briefly about the fart thing, is that there's some of the few farts in my whole life that, actually smell bad to me. Because typically when it comes down to your own farts, you don't have the same
repulsion. Loves their own smell.
Exactly. But there's a few odd cases where it permeates through that defense. And it's not pleasant. And that shit could stay there. If you ripped ass under the covers, you wake up in the morning, you lift up the blanket, and it's back all over again. It went nowhere. It only gets drier.
I've never been able to narrow down the cause of my particularly horrible farts, to be honest. They'll just happen at complete random, and I just have to sit there and suffer. Well, in a similar vein, I also have recently discovered the horror of farting in the shower.
Oh yeah?
I just never have had an instinct to do it before. Until pretty recently. And I let one loose in the shower, and I wanted to just gag. It was so fucking gross.
Now next time you gotta sit down bare ass to the wet bottom of the shower.
Still have not done that yet, even though you've been telling me to do it for several years now.
I mean, it is one of the funniest things you can do. It is so loud, it is incredible. Oh shit, I felt like I had one extra thing to add about this whole little fart fiasco here, but I fucking lost it. I know what it was. Talking about farts that are so bad that even you hate them. I feel like most of the time when that happens, they like to defy gravity in a way. When you have one of those farts, they don't travel in a normal way. They don't fill up a room like a gas should. It just travels straight up your clothing into your nose, and no one else will smell them but you.
I hate those those wet farts that do that. You can feel it move up your ass crack after it leaves. It feels like you have to go and wipe after farting. It's just that bad.
It's just, it really doesn't make any sense in the face of science. It's just not how a gas works. You can't leave all your windows open in a car, rip ass, and then somehow the fart's still in the car. So, I know there's physical, fecal particles that are, settling in the bottom of your underwear or pants if you're really freeballing it. But there's gotta be some kind of explanation out there. And I didn't think any of this would really start out with talking about farts. Granted, I know that wasn't exactly the opening. It was about Chinese food, but yeah. For me, at least, Chinese food and farts are kind of hand in hand.
Permanently linked.
Yeah, just like White Castle and shitting.
Just like food and shitting.
Yeah. Just like all food and violent vomiting.
Black, bloody vomit.
Yeah, I'm like one of those people who they like are pretty much like fiercely allergic to nearly all foods, but I just eat it all anyway. Black veiny vomit.
Pulsating vomit.
Oh, it's like one like fleshy black mass that like you're puking out. It's pulsating. It's like you hacked up an old liver. That is nasty.
Now, you mentioned like free balling and like underwear just before,
Yes.
which actually does happen to somewhat play into the other thing I was thinking about. So like boxers, men's underwear, pretty much all of them have like those overlaying flaps over like where your cock is, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? What is the point of that? Is there any situation where that is useful?
I do not know.
I was trying to think of it earlier today, and I could not think of a single situation. Like, if say, like, you're taking a piss or something, like, in what world are you going to, like, push your pants down, and then, like, unravel the two folds to stick your cock out and piss? Like, if you already have to push the pants down, just hook the underwear with your thumb and pull the underwear down too. Like, who thought that that was a good idea or was practical?
The only explanation that I can even think of, like that were in which you would really need to do that, would be if you had like one of those awful dress pants on that don't have like a zipper, but they have like 6 buttons, and you gotta like unbutton them each, and you just can't do it. Like you're about to fucking burst. You're running to the bathroom. You gotta piss. It's gonna come out. You manage to get 2 of them open. You can't like pull down your pants fully, so that's when you finally have to go through the flap and whip it out and piss.
But does like anyone like wear pants like that anymore?
I do not know, but I guess it's there just in case.
Like, all underwear for men are now like with that built in for this like one very specific situation.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely can't recall the last time I've ever had to maneuver those flaps to use them as they were likely intended.
Like, is that even what they were intended for? Like, I don't know what the point of these things are.
Just to waste your fucking time. It was made by big women to get the laugh out of us.
Yeah. Especially when you consider that, like, you know, like, more and more underwear is becoming, like, popular now that just doesn't have those.
I have yet to see that.
I have several pairs of underwear that don't have those. And personally, I don't miss them at all. And they're actually pretty good for, like, exercising, because the cock doesn't get caught in the fucking flap.
You know, it really, how could it have taken this long for, like, that, like, ease and convenience to reach the masses? Same thing with, like, shirts that still have, like, external tags. There's zero reason to have a shirt that actually has, like, a fucking, like, physical tag.
Paper tag.
Yeah, on your back. When, like, pretty much all shirts that I have now just have it, like, you know, ink printed, yeah, onto the fucking texture. Which had to have been the cheaper option all along. I can't understand how that had gone for so long. Just
It's like
unnoticed.
this shirt that I'm wearing right now, it doesn't have a collar tag, but it has like a really tiny one on the inseam of the side. And like, it's almost unnoticeable, but it has, like, today been like chafing, like, randomly. And I'm just like looking at, like, why is that there?
I don't know. They just, you know, they don't test their own products. I mean,
It's like when they put a
Just send
tag
them
on like
out.
a mattress too. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is the point?
I do not know.
In case you ever need to see the washing instructions, see how to put your mattress in the fucking washing machine.
Yeah, it's just gotta be some derelict thing of like an old
Some
age.
sick joke.
Yeah, because I don't really, at least for the clothing thing, it doesn't really happen anymore. Maybe with some pants, it still exists. Like, that's kind of where you'll probably still see some, like, physical tags. Just because I guess it's, like, less to shave because you're likely wearing underwear, too. But it still should not be a thing. Absolutely no need for it.
Like, the only pants I have that have those are, like, jeans. Like, nothing else really has tags like that.
And, I'm kind of glad we went on this little, like, tangent on completely useless bullshit. Because it made me look over. I have, like, a pencil, like, just sitting haphazardly in the middle of my desk over there. And it made me think about how much I hate those pencils that have those, like, dry erasers that don't do anything. They just, like, squeak and then, like, streak on your paper.
Like the shitty, like, white ones?
Yeah. So the thing is, I was, like, never much of a pen guy. Like, I was just, like, that guy that used a fucking pencil, like, all of school. And only used a pen, like, when it was, like, when I had to. But every once in a while, because there always came down to some point in every pencil user's career in school when, like, you kind of ran out of your own. And you started, like, cycling around, like, ones you found or ones that, like, got, like, handed to you by, like, a friend. And eventually you're going to run into one of those. And I don't understand, like, if that's, like, something that happened to them over time somehow, or if that's how they were packaged. And if it is the latter, then those people need to be, like, found and hung. It just does not work. Makes it worse.
Pretty simple excuse. It's like when you get a pencil, you expect an eraser to be with it. It's like if you're a company that makes pencils, like, you're gonna find the cheapest eraser you can to, like, minimize costs. So you're just gonna get one that just doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah,
but like, people can't complain because you're still selling the pencil with the eraser.
It's just so weird though, because 99% of pencils have an eraser that, like, is perfectly functional. So I don't understand how those even, like, slip through the cracks. Like, is there not some kind of test they have to do? Like, maybe, like, one out of every, like, 1,000 pencils, they get, like, someone to fucking test it on a piece of paper to, like, make sure, like, the, like, graphite and the, like, fucking eraser rubber is still functional. Because if they do, they're just lying on every report.
I never understood the point of those, like, single erasers. Like the big, like, pink ones.
Yeah, the big blocks. They do, they do. It's not like, maybe if they were just better, like, quality than a pencil eraser, and, like, they completely left, like, nothing left on a piece of paper, I understand. But they just do the same thing as a pencil eraser, and on top of that, they're more unwieldy.
Yeah, they break pretty easily.
They break, and they're also just, like, not shaped, like, correctly. I don't know what the deal is, but making it like a trapezoid, or I don't even know what you'd call that shape. It's like a fucking rhombus. They usually have them shaped like. That's just not a comfortable angle to be erasing anything.
Like, you have to use it to a point where it's flat in order for it to be, like, actually useful.
I don't understand what the purpose is, and people just buy those not knowing any better. I don't think I've ever had to deal with one of those, like, as my last resort, so I should be very thankful. And, I think one of the things about, like, pens, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with using pens, even though I have, like, terrible luck with them. It always seems like half the time when I pick up a pen, it's just, like, out, and you gotta fucking fight with it to get the ink out. But I just really hated those pen clickers in high school and middle school. They just could not help themselves.
Not gonna lie, middle school, I was one of those. I was a pen clicker.
And, I guess I understand it, because, you're bored as shit at school, you're like daydreaming Davy out here.
Yeah.
And, you're like, it's either, if you don't have a pen, it's like you're either tapping your foot, maybe tapping your hand, or your head just, like, on your desk, and you're just thinking about something else. So I guess I understand, and that kind of is around the point when, like, fidget spinners and, like, the fidget cube started to, like, enter the market. And then every single kid who, with, like, self-prescribed ADHD, just had a field day. And it all kind of, like, went away, even though I still see the spinners sold every now and then. I have no idea what
go ahead. I was gonna say, it's like, I knew, like, grown adults back then, like, when we were in, like, high school and middle school, when that shit was, like, coming out. I knew grown adults that were like buying that shit for themselves. That was just despicable.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure the Cube, I think the Cube came out first, but then he just got completely overshadowed by the spinners. And I never really saw much of the, you know, appeal to it. I never exactly had like a problem with any of that stuff. I never had a need to, you know, fidget, as they started to call it. Like if I was fucking bored, I was just like drawing stick figure wars in like my notebook or something. I look back, I remember I recently just went through like a lot of old like school like notebooks, like high school and even like some college ones, and it was just fucking like genocide in the margins of these notebooks. Hardly even like remember drawing like most of those. It's just what you gotta do. Most of that shit's dumb boring. And it's not like the school system's getting any better, so.
No, but I think we've already talked about the education system.
We have. There's really no need to dive into it much further than that.
But on a similar note to what was being said before, that's like change. I have, like, in regards to pens, because I do prefer pens over pencils. But I have this really weird thing, and I don't know if you have anything similar to this, where like I only write with like specific pens, and it's not like it's something that like I really can't get a lid on for some reason. Like I've had days where I like went to work when I was working, but I still have to get a new one. But like I would forget to bring my pen with me to work, and I would just refuse to write anything for the entire day. Because I just didn't want to use like the shitty pens that got provided. So I would just like anything that I would be expected to write down, I would end up just typing it like on a note on my phone or something. And I would wait till the next day when I remembered to bring my pen in to like actually write things. And I have no idea why that is. It's just like this weird like autistic tick that I have for some reason.
It's just, you know, creature of habit type of shit. You just want to use your pen.
It's very specifically 2 types of pens that I buy. And if I just don't have those pens, I just won't write.
I don't think I've ever had anything quite like that for pencils, as far as I can tell.
It's like the only thing that's like that with, though. I have no fucking idea.
I can't even think of anything like that. Like, it's like autistic tics. I'd almost want to say that there's got to be like something that I'd have, but nothing is coming to me, unless you can think of one that you know I have that I'm just not thinking of.
Oh fuck!
I don't know if I particularly have any of real important note. You know, I don't have like a Tourette's tic. I definitely do have my like habits, and I am one of those people. I don't really like to break habit too much, even if it's like a habit that I could very easily be like making easier for myself. In a way, like I don't even know how to explain something like that, but basically what I'm trying to get at is when it comes down to those kind of habits, I just prefer throwing my head at the wall. Even if there's like an option to make the task easier for myself. I guess because maybe like deep down inside I kind of just like enjoy the horrible struggle.
Yeah. That's why we play War Thunder.
Ain't that the damn truth?
Or Halo on Legendary. It's all about the struggle.
It's like getting pissed
struggle,
blood, man.
Struggle builds character, you know?
It does.
That's why we play War Thunder. To build character.
If that's what you call it. I guess when you break down enough of your character, something's got to be rebuilt. I don't even know.
Got
maybe
me screaming like James and Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's
bashing my head through the cupboards.
Sometimes that's just how that shit like gets you. And I'm not even one who typically gets like genuinely mad at video games.
Yeah.
But War Thunder is just one of those games where there's so many variables at play, and there's a lot of like bullshit, like bugs in play that there's just like way more luck than skill in most cases.
I honestly don't understand people who get like legitimately physically mad on video games.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, like even when I'm playing a game and I'm doing shit, I'm usually like laughing at how bad I'm doing for that particular game. Like,
Yeah. I mean, the only other game besides War Thunder that I feel like has the same type of bullshit cheese to it, I guess, is probably Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. And
oh,
for the same reason. It's because, like, when I'm picturing the game in my head, just, without playing it, I imagine, like, there's just, like, a huge brush of, like, trees and bushes and whatnot. And I just...
and you're hiding behind a bush and someone just domes you from 500
Yeah.
meters away.
like, from where I am, I can't see anything. You literally can't make out one enemy. I'm lying still. You don't see any movement. Yet, like, the fucking kill counter at the top right is just showing, the battle's going on. Like, dozens of people are dropping dead every second. Yet, like, it's all just happening somehow, like, behind the scenes. And while you think you're invisible, like, hiding in this tall grass, turns out that it's basically like a fat guy hiding behind, like, a skinny tree in reality. And there's really no way of you knowing how you look, because the whole thing's in first person, obviously. And that shit always pisses me off. I can understand if you're a sniper, but when you just, like, peep your head up in a map where it's, like, dark as shit, and there's leaves all over the place, and I'm playing as the Viet Cong, and I have, like, the brush on my back, there's just, like, something awry there. Someone's playing, like, with grass turned off. They got, like, they bypassed anti-cheat.
Or when you finally have a good push into a point, and then there's just some dickhead with a flamethrower, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, which...
It's the second that flamethrower touches you, you just instantly, like, can't fire back.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there's definitely a level of realism there I can respect, even if it is a completely horseshit weapon.
Same thing with the fucking grenade launcher.
Yeah.
I despise people who use the grenade launcher in Vietnam.
Yeah, that shit is, like, sometimes better than the RPG. It has, like, penetration power. You can be behind a wall, and you hear, like, thunk, and you're dead. I don't know, I mean, ironically, I think the most kills I've ever gotten with a flamethrower in that game are against my own team.
With team kills.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, 'cause the strat is just, as soon as the match starts, you grab that roll, and then as soon as everyone spawns in, you just unload into the team and instantly get fucking banned.
Yeah. Like that is definitely up there in probably the top 10 games that are just probably the best for fucking with people because of how much it relies on, like, an honor system. The fact that there's...
not only the honor system, but just how much, like, people take that game seriously.
Yeah, and how much you can get away with team killing on most servers. Like, you could definitely get away with...
Especially if you're the commander.
Yeah, you could definitely get away with team killing a few people before, like, someone will probably start, like, a vote kick against you, but most servers don't even auto-kick you for team killing until you've killed, like, at least, like, 20 people.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So if you have, like, a team of friends on, like, a server and there's, like, no admin on, maybe, like, late at night, you could just keep killing people, like all the whole match and just
have
keep
your boys turn the vote down.
Yeah, like, beat out the vote, fucking, like, democracy.
I love democracy.
And I think the funniest thing, too, is when you're playing as the Viet Cong and the commander does that one move where it spawns your entire team that's dead all in one spot at once.
Yeah, you just point your RPG at the ground and fire.
Yeah, and then, like, that whole push is done and practically, like, the whole battle's lost if you're, like, on campaign.
Yeah. Or, like, if it's, like literally, like, the last point of the match and you're on defense. Like, like, the commander spawns everyone in for one last-ditch attempt at defending the point. You just kill the whole team. Nothing is funnier in that game than doing something like that, like pointing your explosive at the ground, firing, and then before you even get to see the feed, you're just sent to the loading screen.
It is because of those exact antics that I believe I'm permanently banned from, like, one of the top servers that's still, like, in there.
Or how about, post Scriptum, where you're banned
yeah.
from like every single server in that game.
I wasn't banned from all of them, but I was banned from the top like Eastern US server. But I can't even be mad. I got so many like weeks of my life added onto my total lifespan from laughing at that. It's just so fucking. You can't design a game like that without thinking of the consequences. You know, and
Without expecting us to get a hold of it and ruin multiple matches.
yeah, and, I mean, I feel like we should kind of explain what makes like that game so retarded.
The
Like, you know,
only thing I specifically remember was the truck.
yes.
Like,
so I guess
fiasco.
so I'll do like a recap for anyone that's never played that game. So, you know, like World War II, you know, a tactical shooter. It's kind of like it's less arcadey, way more like simulator type shit. Not like as bad as Arma, but you know, it's like one of those types of games. And for whatever reason, they decided to have the respawn situation handled by trucks that you could drive. Like every now and then, you know, like a spawn truck would show up and you drive it as close as you could to like the front lines without it getting destroyed, and then it'd become like a spawn beacon for like anyone that died. You can go there.
A mobile spawn point.
Yeah,
Either that or you have to spawn all the way at the very first like point that your team has.
And then it's like DayZ where you spend like an hour running to where you gotta go just so you can like die. So you just take this truck, and once you have the truck, like the second it's moving, it disables it as a spawn vector. So what do? You just drive it out into the open field right in the middle of no man's land, and on top of that, we just hit each other. We hit our teammates with the car. Because the game had this hysterical physics system where if you hit someone, it was like this realistic where they bounced off the hood. And they're just getting pissed. Like, oh, this guy's stealing the car. We can't spawn.
And not to mention, too, that if the truck gets destroyed, your team loses a shit ton of respawn tickets. I forget the exact number, but it counts as like almost like the whole team getting killed, if I remember right.
So much of like winning the match hinges on proper use of that car, and all it takes is one bonehead to just ruin the whole flow of the game.
You have people trying to get into the car so they can, you know, get it to a good hill behind the front line, so everyone has a good safe space to spawn. Then we spawn and it instantly hop in the driver's seat, drive it past the point into enemy territory, and start using it as like a battering ram to try to run over Germans.
And then
while like being chased by German armor.
And then what we'd do is when things got too hot, we'd like Alt F4 quit the game, change our Steam names, and come back in before like the admins could like really take action. And that lasted a damn long time before they finally caught us in the act. Like we slipped up, we weren't too fast, and they finally took us down. And it really sucks now because I played it again fairly recently, and they like decided to overcomplicate the tank controls. Like they added like a real ass like clutch to the fucking tanks, even though none of that was really necessary. So I couldn't even have like fun, because that was probably one of the best parts of that game was like, you know, getting all the boys in one tank and actually having to like operate it with like a gunner, commander, and driver. But it just wasn't fun being a driver for all those button commands anymore. So I just like Alt F4'd.
They made it realistic enough that like if you improperly drive the tank, like you could just completely like destroy the transmission.
You should have that.
If they're gonna go through all that effort of giving it like a proper clutch and other controls, they should make it so that if you don't do it right, the tank just breaks down.
Oh yeah, real like simulated tank shenanigans where it's actually like breaking down. You'd have like a dedicated fucking like engineer, like real time, like swapping out the tracks. And maybe if you really want to, you can go even further.
Real time.
Yeah, like maybe
the
if
German team's just completely fucked if their tracks ever break. Like.
Yeah. And then if you want to even go further with it, how about this? You can't even respawn in new tanks until you get a recovery vehicle to get that down tank back to the spawn.
That's fucking evil.
That would honestly be kind of like a cool feature if it was like its own mode, maybe like hyper-realism mode or something. Actually having like fucking recovery vehicles.
Recovery vehicles?
Yeah. Like that's the only way you can like get more tickets for your tanks, if you can just like get them back. or maybe it would at least like speed up the process in which like your tanks would spawn.
Like you lose the tanks when you lose the tank, but you can like get like half of them back if you recover it.
Yeah, that'd be retarded. Except the problem is you were talking about this, but I know damn well if they added that, it would just be another vehicle to like steal out of the hands of real hardworking players
and try to like run it into enemy territory.
Yeah, I'd be like we'd be taking the recovery vehicle, like winching onto the tank, and then like driving it further away, like into enemy territory, and then lose both of them. Just like can't help it. You can't have that type of game with us like in existence. Like same shit goes for like any other game, you know, like any multiplayer game, you know, GTA 5, Red Dead, that shit's gonna happen. Granted,
any game that has like friendly fire too.
Yeah.
You can't put friendly fire in an online game and not expect me to shoot my teammates.
Yeah, like it's at some point when I'm getting bored, I'm gonna take it out of the team. Like I can still play Rising Storm 2 as like a normal ass person, but like the second I'm feeling up to it, I feel absolutely no remorse just like ruining everyone else's time to like supplement mine.
Or if like the commander is just being a complete shithead and doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, going over just like doming him.
Yeah, I'm not a big commander player in Rising Storm, but like I know the basics of it and I can do a pretty decent job if I decide to do it. But sometimes you just get these complete fucking shitheads that don't know how to call artillery. They don't know where to actually call the artillery to. They like just completely fuck up and ruin the momentum of the team. Like it is my duty at that point to take out my sidearm, go up to him, and put him down like Lenny from A Mice and Men. Like I have to do it.
You know, like our enemy commanders over there with like 58 kills, and then like you know your guy's like, "Up, sorry, you know, sorry," because he accidentally
negative
blew up.
100 points because he keeps calling arty strikes on the point and killing his teammates.
I mean, not to say that's not something we haven't done like on purpose, like where we would go around as squad leaders feeding like points of artillery on our men, and then like our commander's just one of us on the inside. It's like this one guy going around shooting people and another just blowing up the team. Like the match is just over. You can't.
But at least with that, it's like we're fucking it up on purpose. Like there's just people who actually like just fuck things up because they don't know what they're doing. And those people I execute.
And you know, now I like have to mention this when it comes down to fucking with people in Rising Storm 2. I don't know how I didn't mention Resort yet.
Oh my god. I don't want to talk about Resort.
Now I have to, because I'm just like...
fucking despise that map.
Yeah, you know, once again, one more refresher. This is a map, probably definitely infamous in this game, because the American side spawns on an island, and the only way to get to the first point is to successfully land a helicopter on the beach. And most people do not know how to fly helicopters in that game.
And if you're listening to this and have gotten this far, then you probably know what we're going to be doing when we play on this map.
You get in the helicopter, like you take the helicopter
helicopter pilot role and you pilot it.
And now like 6 people are at your complete mercy.
I think it's more than 6.
Yeah, I mean,
you get a few more.
I think
you might get like 8. Like,
I don't know if it's that many. You're like really cramming them in, but you just crash into other people's helicopters. You know, taking them down. You can't even land at the A point. The Viet Cong are like waiting for you to show up, and it's just like nothing's happening. Like one helicopter makes it through, and it just gets shot down immediately.
Yeah, it either gets shot down, or if it does somehow, if any survivors somehow manage to like survive the landing, just out in the open on a beach, and they just get gunned down instantly. That map is such a fucking train wreck.
And you know, it always fucking amuses me that if you ever like load up the game now, there's like a 24/7 Resort server. That's all they play.
It's despicable. But then again, that's something like we might actually do just to piss ourselves off.
Yeah, because like I like enjoy playing it as like the defenders. It's hysterical, just like blowing them away on the beach. I mean, I don't mind playing as the
Once you
Americans.
play as the Americans, the only way to feel joy is to crash the helicopter on purpose.
Yeah, at least on that server, like it's got like regulars, so they know typically what they're doing. But yeah, once I'm behind the wheel, it is like up in the air, quite literally. Yeah, I don't think any game quite beats Postscriptum in terms of seriousness and like sheer honor that is expected of its player base. At least as far as I've played.
I'm sure if we played Squad, it'd be much of the same, because Squad is made by the same people. And it's pretty much just Postscriptum, but modern combat.
That would be very dumb too.
Yeah.
And it's nothing I love more, just fucking with people online in games.
Yeah.
It's because
Getting people, like, purposefully fucking up what you do, getting people mad, and then shitting on them in the voice chat for getting mad at you.
like, yeah, I mean, like you'd be called like toxic nowadays, and I
embrace that with honor. If I can piss off some asshole playing this online game, I've made my life better, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like I quite literally have like nothing to lose and everything to gain. Like I guess I like maybe I'll get like permanently banned, but I'm so used to that doesn't even like phase me.
Bitch, I grew up on Garry's mod. I know what it's like to be banned from a server.
there was truly a point when I was permanently banned from just about every Clone Wars RP server available. And even today, there's still like if I ever revisit it, there's a couple in which I'm still permabanned that have like stood the test of time. And like say something crazy like
stomping grounds.
Yeah, like they're still out there somewhere. You know, like a Hogwarts RP, military RP, Clone Wars.
Oh my God, fucking Hogwarts RP.
If you're, if anyone out there listening is like, if this is like miraculous enough of like a call to arms about, and if you happen to be like an admin of a Hogwarts RP server on Garry's mod, you have to enable fists. Any of those servers let you punch is the funniest thing ever. And it really is like a damn shame that most servers have it disabled. Like the thing is, like, they've all learned from us.
Yeah.
We were like a fucking disease.
Like, it was our special ability to find any cracks in the seams of any Garry's mod server. And we got our fucking kicks out of it, but I guess on the downside is that we exposed these cracks to the mods to such a point where at this point, like, no servers have those exploits anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so tightly woven that it's almost like probably like unfun for the people to play it normally.
Yeah.
Like if I played on a Clone Wars RP server like 5 years ago, it would be like the regular like old ass Venator ship. You got like your, like the training room is unguarded. You can open the door anytime you want, and you pretty much have free unrestricted access
as soon as you spawn in, assuming that there's no like mods or trainers in the spawning area. You can just walk out.
Yeah, and on some cases, your gun can damage people. It's not like a training gun that does like 0 damage. So you can already shoot people. You can go wherever the fuck you want right out the gates, because there's never always going to be someone like watching 24/7. And then you just go upstairs, turn on the buttons, turn off the lights, open up the hangar doors, get everyone mad, change your name, and like refresh. But nowadays when you play, the fucking training room's like not only is the Venator a whole different map, the training room's locked. They have people like watching. Your gun doesn't do any damage.
A lot of servers you can't even get to the command buttons anymore because they've completely like gotten rid of that. Only mods can float up there.
Yeah. There's just nothing left, which only makes it more satisfying when you do find a way to fuck them over. Because it's like, they put in so much effort to make sure you can't. You just...
that one, like, dumbass time where we figured out how to clip out of the command room. So we get up there, press all the buttons, clip out onto the roof. And then, like, we can hear the mod below us going, like, where is he? Like, he's gotta be here. Like, I flew up here as soon as the alarm went off. Like who did this? We're just like standing like right above him.
Untouchable. Yeah. And will forever be past the era of like being able to delete the elevators and the other like text on the walls.
Deleting any element inside of the server. I forgot about the text on the walls. That shit was so stupid.
Yeah, because they have to like refresh the whole server.
Fucking trainer turns around and the instructions are gone.
Yeah, and then they have to reload the entire server, and we just do it again. Because like, what are they gonna do? Like, they need it up there. Delete all the targets in the fucking like main room. Delete the elevators. Now it's just like impossible to play.
Get up to the alarm buttons, activate all of them, and delete the buttons so they can't turn it off.
Yep. But still, the biggest upset was when they finally disabled being able to spawn like entities and objects. Just honestly, I can't even believe that, because the implication that you were able to spawn like a Strider or like a Half-Life dropship anytime you wanted before we showed up to the game.
It's insane.
It is crazy. Like, we really had to have been like the biggest shitsters on Earth if no one else was able to bring that upon like the Gmod world before us.
Only people who are going on Clone Wars RP servers were people who like took it seriously.
I know.
We were going on there to have fun, so we just like abused every open route we could find.
It is crazy. Spawning
the fucking... I'll never forget for my entire life just the mental image sitting in the hangar bay, all of us lined up. We have like the mods and like the Jedis and the captains all in front of us explaining like, okay, we're going down to like Alderaan to go and fight the Cis soldiers there, and then just all the way at the end of the hangar, like 150 yards away, you just see at the top corner a Vortigot falling, hitting the ground with boom, and instantly gets deleted, and all of the entire mod staff of the server turns around to look at it, and nothing's there. And then they turn around, start talking again, and then a second Vortigot drops down.
Like, just that like 5 seconds of silence as it drifts downwards. Because like that room is just so tall. It like gives you time to laugh at it before like it even like happens.
Or just when you could spawn the Strider in and it had collision physics. So the captain would be given the speech and all the Jedi are standing there, and then a single Strider spawns right above them, crushes all of them to death.
Yeah.
And then gets deleted.
I mean, my biggest hoorah for like a Strider kill in a Clone Wars RP was when I joined one server, and I was lucky or unlucky enough in a way. I joined it right in the middle of an event. I think they were all in Kashyyyk or something. So I'm just like this recruit. I don't even like have anything. And of course, no one's at the spawn area because like this event's probably like a couple hours in. And I'm walking around trying to find where everyone is. And then finally, after like 15 minutes of searching, I found this elevator that just came up, and the whole server was on this elevator. And without even thinking, I pressed Q, went to the Strider, and dropped it, and it killed everybody. Like 30 people went down. And like I just got like instantly banned. I was so happy. They finally disabled all of that. If you want to have fun, like fucking over people in most of those RPs, you're gonna have to get damn well creative.
You just have to do it mentally now, which isn't too hard, but
it's all about social engineering. You got to make them pretend that you know you're one of them. You get the training, you get the guns, you stay on the inside, and then you make your move.
I'll still never forget that one time. I think it was Dark RP, right? Where
maybe
we RDM'd somebody, and we managed to get the mod and this other guy into like a conversation for like 3 or 4 hours, trying to convince the mod that we didn't actually like kill the guy.
I do. We were in cages, pleading our case, lying through our teeth.
And I don't even like. I'm trying to remember how it ended. Like, I think the mod just let us off with a warning, right?
Probably.
And then we instantly turned and killed the guy again. And the mod was like 3 hours, and then banned us.
Like an unshakable in our like belief. Can't take us down. What every like admin fears. I will lie in an admin sit until I'm blue in the face, be let out, and go right back to what I was doing.
Yeah. There's nothing more gratifying than gaslighting a Gmod admin into letting you go.
Oh yeah, like honestly, I probably spent more time in a cage on like the dark RP maps than I have like than I haven't. Just being in a cage, floating over like the fountain, or like on top of like the building, like that's over like the tunnel. And you know, the admin just sitting there quiet, and finally he's like, "Oh, you want to tell me what happened?" It's like, "Oh, you know, this guy was just, you know, he was fighting me. I just had to defend myself." Like, "Oh, I looked in the logs. I mean, yeah, it looks like you're in the wrong always." Like, ah, fuck. I don't think so, buddy. I will kick and squirm and make it as annoying for you as possible. I'm gonna get teleported to a whole separate, like, flat area that's specifically meant for, like, admin sits. Where we can waste our time for a half hour doing nothing. Because, like, the admins just... I don't understand why they do that. Like, I don't know, I can't fathom how it takes so long for them to, like, reach decisions. Like, they just do a lot of standing around, like, texting.
In their own, like group chats.
Yeah, like they can't just... They really take it so seriously that they need to make it, like, a genuine, like, council. They can't just fucking decide then and there, like, okay, like, you're a shitster, you're fucking kicked and banned. Like, no, they really want to, like, play the judge, jury, and executioner role to, like, a T. They don't want to make me wait. I have a right to a speedy trial.
Yeah.
That's what they forgot.
It's just especially dumb for us, because, like, these people are, like, wasting their time dealing with our bullshit, but for us, it's, like, time well spent. Because we're just getting enjoyment out of knowing that we're wasting this loser's time.
So we're laughing our ass off till, like, we're crying in, like, a Skype call.
Yeah.
You know, while this guy is just, like, blue in the face. Like, probably crying for real.
Crying, yeah.
And, like, little kids that always, you know, pull out the thing, like, oh, you know, I'm, like, recording this. I'm gonna send this to, like, the admin Discord. Okay, crazy. The admin logs off, and then we just, like, wall off the spawn with chain link fences. You know, one of us just plays as a...
Send a sweeping team to go and clear out the server so everyone gets sent back to spawn.
Yep, join your dark RP server. You know, you start with like $40,000. Someone becomes like a police officer, a security guard, or a gun dealer, and then you just give all your shit to your buddies. Even if it costs all of your money, just drop them like that fucking USP. And then just start shooting. Go into the movie theater, just play the most abhorrent shit possible, walk out.
Yeah.
Become the mayor, become the police. They can't really do that too much anymore. They
What,
made
do they
sure...
make the mayor like a donator only role?
I don't know. I just know, like, for police, they've always made them, like, more recently. It's something you can't just, like, vote for anymore. You gotta, like, sign up on, like, their website if you want to even, like, attempt to get into the police role.
Despicable.
Because of how, like, abused it is. I don't even care. There's usually at least one job where you just join right out the gates as like a fucking gang member or security guard, where you just start with a gun, and then you're set. Because you'll never have to do your job, because no one's actually, like, asking for those roles. And then you just shoot people across the road and then just put your gun away. Make people mad, you know, sow dissent. And that's all Garry's mod's good for. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's, like, genuinely setting up battles on, like, the flat grass. I'm out there to, like, have a great time. That's the
at
point
the
of
expense
games.
of others.
Yeah, which really is the best type of game. Which is especially why it's so great to like do shit like GTA 5. That's like a whole other story on its own. Unless it was a 5M, you remember that? Like the GTA role playing.
Oh, I could barely remember that. We only did that like once, as far as I remember.
Yeah, we did it like once or twice, but that was hysterical. Because just one more little frame of reference here. I doubt this like is available at all anymore. Maybe it is. I'd hope so, just in case I ever like went back to it. But it was a server. It's literally just like GTA 5, but if it kind of had like Garry's Mod Dark RP settings where you got to like, you know, choose your roles and shit like that. And this server, for no reason, just let every single person have access to like mod controls. You could choose how fast your car went, like what guns you had. You know, if we're in an APC, we clearly just like killed somebody. They sent a cop after us, and we just turn up the speed on this armored vehicle. It's like 300 times the regular speed, and we outrun the Crown Vic. And that was still one of the hardest I've ever laughed in my life when I saw that all happen. Because it wasn't just like you got faster in the car. It added like mass to your vehicle. So if you just lightly tapped another car, it fucking exploded. And that's what happened to that first cop car.
We gotta activate the turbo.
Yeah, we're gonna activate the turbo, boys. And I think finally the mods caught up with us. They're like, yeah, like, you know, that car went too fast. Like, there's something wrong here. You know, so they could arrest us. And they put me in the car. And then I just swap seats to the driver's seat and I just take off. But I can't drive because I'm handcuffed, so I can only drive either forward or backward. So I keep hitting the cop and I drive away. So stupid. There haven't exactly been any other games that have ever reached that kind of, I guess, like, just pure fun. At least, because I mean, it's got to be multiplayer. It's got to have at least a couple of the features we've mentioned so far. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth anything. You know, it's about as far as I have with anything like that. I'm out of juice of talking about like video games right now. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing by maybe opening up this can of worms. But did you have something perhaps Trump related at the beginning of this to let out?
I'm glad you asked, because I'm also reaching the end of my rope here, listening to the fucking Secret Tunnel song. I've been listening to it since we started. And I'm still listening to it.
That's your own damn fault.
But I was like wondering when we were setting this up, like, I started fucking laughing because I was just thinking of like what if Trump used the Secret Tunnel song in a speech? And, like, I was wondering if he would like get called out. But like, if he just started paraphrasing, I wrote down like what he would say here. It's like
one second. For the viewers at home, we're talking about the Avatar: The Last Airbender song, like of the Secret Tunnel, like the Tale of Two Lovers.
Like if Trump just got in front of a podium and just like we're lovers forbidden from one another. A war has divided our people. A mountain divides us apart. We need to build a path to be together.
Like, it might as well make a real ass speech.
Yeah, like talking about like the divide in America. Do you think people would call him out for it?
Maybe. Like, it would take maybe like in like a couple days time, there'd be like an article that says like Trump plagiarized The Last Airbender in his latest speech. But I don't know how many people could like genuinely work themselves up to be that mad about it, because that's just like so stupid. It'd be unbelievable. Through the mountains, secret tunnel.
And I forget the next part, but
Like him and Joe are like trapped underneath the ground. They're like, love burns brightest in the dark. He'll lean in and they like make out.
I think they would kiss before they figure out the glow in the dark rocks.
Like the lights go out, they kiss, and like nothing happens. I'm gonna die down here. Yeah, Trump in the Avatar world has been heavily documented by us. There's a long-standing tradition now.
I'm not sure the world is ready for that.
No, just like the real Avatar, like it's still in hiding.
Yeah.
One day the Trump Avatar will return and save the world.
I believe Trump can save the world.
Would you like to go penguin sledding with me? Where's it good? I think Katara's she's an Inuit from one of those shithole countries. That's what you'd say. Doesn't want to work with either of them. He just like dies.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have like air bending, like internal temperature control.
Yeah. Well, if
he just dies out in the South Pole with protective gear on.
And you know the craziest part is there's a solid chance that all three of them would have died in that scenario. Like Trump came out of the ice, because if I'm assuming that there's no Appa with them, remember the whole part that even led them to like
They're,
the iceberg.
Stuck on that iceberg.
Yeah, because like their boat got destroyed, and they had no way out. So it just would have been like three skeletons on that iceberg, unless Katara like miraculously found out how to like get them across with like her shit ass waterbending, which he hardly knew how to use in that episode.
You're adding like this realism to like Trump would just die when they unfreeze him by like real physics.
It's funny.
All of his cells would unfreeze and explode and just die on the spot.
It's very funny to pick and choose. Like if Trump and Katara made it into that Fire Nation like ship, and like a booby trap like caught Trump's neck.
But he doesn't have airbending, so he can't like jump out of it.
No. He just like triggers like a fucking booby trap, and it fires like that flare, and it goes like right into him.
Sets him on fire.
Yeah, he would not make it out of the South Pole. If he somehow made it to the duel with Zuko, Zuko would kill him.
I don't even know what Zuko would do, because like Trump isn't the Avatar in this scenario, right?
No,
he's still just Trump. So like, he'd go there looking for the Avatar, and then he would just find this like 70-something-year-old man,
I guess,
who can't bend.
But to be fair,
and he would just like leave him, or he might kill him because Trump's probably gonna say some dumb shit to him.
You look like a bored little idiot.
I think I could kill you easy with my bare hands.
I'm gonna kill you, then fuck Azula.
Prince of the Fire Lord, I'm Prince of the Fire Nation. Can you believe this guy? Prince of the Fire Nation. I'm President of the United States.
What does that make you? I mean, he would.
And then Trump just gets turned to ash.
I mean, it still would be like incredible for Zuko. I mean, he comes here, like he saw the beam of light, so like he knows something's up. He goes there and he just sees this odd man out, like this massive man. Who's definitely old.
Orange man.
He looks completely different from the rest of them. Like you'd have to assume it's the Avatar. And like since he can't,
but he knows
bend,
what an air nomad is supposed to look like.
I mean, does he? Like most of the other people,
because
like,
he thought Guru Patik was Aang when he found him in the comics.
Yeah, the Guru Patik is like doesn't look like a fucking air nomad at all.
He does.
He doesn't even wear like the orange robes.
Can you say he looks like any other nation person from Avatar?
He does not.
It's kind of like his own thing, but he's definitely closest to the air nomads.
Maybe. I'd say when you think about like the Last Airbender, pretty much nobody recognizes Aang as being an air nomad at all. Like everywhere he goes, it is very rare that they ever like call him out on it. And the same kind of goes for like Sokka and Katara. No one really makes mention that they're like waterbenders when they're like fucking around in the Earth Kingdom. even though it's like such a dead giveaway in that world, since everyone just wears their nation on their sleeve, quite literally. They all have like
Yeah.
red, blue, and like green eyes and clothing. It's like a miracle that some of them can even like hide as other races. They're like jumping in the Avatar. It always ends up like this.
Yeah, but even still, like, with Trump, like, I don't think he would, like, Zuko has been studying, like, what an air nomad would look like, because he's obsessed with it. So I think he would have some know-how to know that Trump isn't an air nomad. Just by looking at him.
He'd probably take him back onto his ship anyway.
And, like, even if he couldn't tell just by looking at Trump that he's not an air nomad, the second Trump opens his mouth, it's gonna be incredibly obvious that this man is not spiritually enlightened.
Just the idea that Trump has to say something that's gonna get him killed. Like, there's no possibility where Trump's just, like, genuinely terrified because in a world where nothing makes sense, he just rolls with it and gets himself into trouble. And, like, just to make matters worse, he has this, like, incredible knowledge of the Avatar universe. Like, he knows who Zuko is, and, like, he uses that to his advantage. Or rather, his disadvantage to, like, get himself into, like, a bad situation. He's like, look,
even if he didn't know who Prince Zuko was, like, Zuko's gonna say it.
It's like, oh, look, it's the banished prince. Daddy didn't want you.
How about I give you a matching scar for the other eye?
Yeah, maybe you'd like a scar to match.
Maybe you like a tan to match. Trump gets captured by Zuko. Like, he's getting brought back to the Fire, and I guess he wouldn't be getting brought back to the Fire Nation. So where's Zuko gonna take him? Because Trump isn't escaping. He can't airbend his way out of the ship.
No. And Katara and Sokka wouldn't have any real attachment to him.
Yeah. Just been like shit talking their village since he got there. They're just gonna let him get taken. Like, what's Zuko gonna do with him?
I don't know. Like, maybe like they would have to think he would look so different from everybody they've ever encountered on this planet. Like, he's wearing these bizarre clothes. He's like definitely extremely tall compared to like what I would imagine like the height is for most of the people there. And he's like
orange.
Yeah, he's the only blonde-haired guy in like all of Avatar. Like, so
like, where is Zuko gonna bring him? Because like that's definitely not gonna be enough for him to be allowed back to the Fire Nation.
Zuko would probably
like sell him to the circus. Like,
you probably would sell him to someone to like just try to like reimburse the fucking like the wasted trip to the south.
Like, he was already in the south.
Yeah, but like I mean, they headed down there just for shits and giggles, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they just like send him to the Boiling Rock.
It's supposed to be reserved for like the most dangerous people to the Fire Nation. They just send this like random guy there.
It would be funny if he just like joined the circus. Like, really, what would happen to him? Well, I would like the idea that Trump does know how to bend, but he just never does it.
Yeah.
He's not even like
he doesn't
an avatar.
know he can do it.
Like, he can only still bend one element. And
the question for this scenario is like, where is the Avatar?
Well, if he came out of the ice and the fucking light
Where's
happened,
Aang? Yeah.
Maybe the Avatar cycle just ended because like Aang died when he got swapped out with Trump. So Aang got sent to the real world where like being frozen in ice just kills you. So and since he was perpetually in the Avatar state when he was like frozen in that ice, it ended the cycle. So like the world is so fucked. The Avatar's gone and it got replaced by Trump. And just to make matters worse, Trump has like an ambiguous knowledge of the Avatar lore to get by. Even though he's probably never watched it in his life.
He made a seen snippets of it if like Baron watched it or something.
Yeah, he remembers it.
What are you watching, little Baron?
What you watching? Said Is that book 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender? Is that Into the Inferno, perhaps? I've seen every
My
episode.
favorite episode.
I freaking love that shit. I think Ozai did the right thing.
Don't get me started on gore.
Don't even get me started. I think, frankly, this Ozai guy is a great guy. I think he's a very powerful, effective leader. I think if I was over there with Ozai, we'd cut a deal. The 100-year war would be over in a day, most likely.
I am the master of making deals. I could negotiate between the Earth King and the Fire Lord.
So I think the Earth Kingdom just needs to give up half its territory. Maybe give up Ba Sing Se to the Fire Lord, and you can appease him, and this war can be over soon.
We're going to build a wall.
We're gonna build the great big gates of Zulan. Or the great big wall of Ba Sing Se.
From this day forward, I will be known as Phoenix King.
What happened to Ozai?
I negotiate. I gave him a deal he couldn't resist.
Like airbended him away. There's been a
Trump's
change.
an airbender.
Yeah, but he's not even the Avatar, so he can just only airbend.
Yeah, but he's not gonna have the morality of an air nomad, so he's not gonna be afraid to use it to kill people.
Yeah. I shoot the kill, Ozai.
Yeah. I'm gonna bend the air out of your lungs and watch you suffocate.
I'm gonna bend...
All my life, I spent trying to get your approval.
But Trump did not know that, since he had spoken out in the Fire Lord's war room, he would have to duel Ozai himself. Okay, old man, let's see what you got.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Like Ozai has like a scar. Not even from fire, but just like from where he got like hooked in the side of the face.
He got a black eye.
He like lost an eye. Trump just like decked him. Or even better, like since Trump's like this evil airbender, he just like every time he when he Agni Kai's Ozai, even though he's not a fucking firebender, he just like removes all the air from around like Ozai's hands and feet, so he can't like combust fire. There's just like nothing for him. That's so he just like walks in and just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. I still don't think Trump would win a fist fight against Ozai, but I think it's funnier if he does.
Yeah, it's always like funnier where like in the worst of moments, Trump pulls out some insane superhuman ability.
Yeah.
Well beyond someone of his age and fitness. And I guess it makes sense because in that world, like most people are like unnaturally acrobatic. So maybe Trump would get like a little boost. I mean, he would be like old and a bender, so he'd probably be in like the White Lotus.
He gets into the White Lotus.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump wouldn't have the patience to set up all the tiles to get into the secret hideouts.
I don't know how to play this game.
I remember the White Lotus, you need to let me in. Like the other guys be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
This is why you assembled.
Do you care for a game of Pai Sho? Like, no, I don't have time for that.
Like Zuko's up there with Iroh, like, this is why you assembled all the members of the White Lotus. It wasn't me. There was a higher Grand Master than even I that gave out the order. Alright, party people, who's ready to take out the Fire Lord? Yeah.
Never did I dream I would be its liberator.
More like under new management. Goes in there like
Trump's ad, like the Victory Day. Please.
Instead of there being like, the real hero here is Donald.
You're goddamn right.
And then what does like Trump look over and like Sokka like blushes and it plays like that in the crowd. It still always bothers me how in that ending one entire section was just dedicated to swamp benders. Even though it was like 3 times more than you ever even saw in like one place at a time. It's like they forgot. It's like, oh, you know, we got the fire like firebenders and waterbenders, earthbenders here. But like,
We
what the
really need a fourth group.
yeah, like they couldn't just make it like just 3 columns. Just like pad out the
Just make it,
waterbenders.
like, non-benders or something.
Yeah. But no,
Or just like assorted peoples.
they just had to
You
do
get the
that.
swamp benders, even though I don't think you see any more than maybe like 6 of them throughout the entire show up to that point.
Yeah, that was like it's like 50 of them. And like it was
They really didn't do much throughout the show. Like, you have the swamp bending specific episode, and then you have
like the Siege of the
few
Fire
swamp
Nation.
benders that show up, at the Day of Black Sun. And like, that's it.
And I mean, they did like have their moment because they were the ones that like powered the submarines.
But they were just part of like the waterbenders that did that.
Yeah, but you also gotta remember they
Because there were
were
other waterbenders.
no, but you gotta remember they actually were the only waterbenders because only the southern water tribes sent soldiers, and all they had were non-benders besides Katara. So the only waterbenders they had was the swamp folk. But even then, there just wasn't that many. Like, it couldn't have been any more than like 12. But I guess according to that, like, it's either the whole tribe showed up and they all got arrested and like thrown in jail until the war ended, or they all decided to somehow take that trip to the Fire Nation and make it in time for the coronation. Despite them living in like actual fucking straw huts in the middle of like a jungle with probably no access to the outside. I don't know, just shitting on like inconsistencies. I could talk about that all day. Do we even have anything like left in the chamber?
I don't think I do.
I don't either. We want to call this one just like like a little bit earlier than most.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.